Well, good to have you with us here on eNCA. Back to one of our top stories today. Suspended ANC Secretary-general Magashule back in court in Bloemfontein, as are our reporters, as we await for their trial to get underway. About 9:30 this morning. It's all got to do with corruption, fraud and money laundering. He sits alongside 15 others relating to a multi-million rand asbestos tender. It was during his time as Free State Premier. To remind us of this case, constitutional law expert Rebecca Sibanda joining us now from Johannesburg. Rebecca, morning to you. It's always such a pleasure speaking to you because you help lay people like me understand the significance of a court case like this. So in a pre-trial hearing, I'm seeing a lot of security outside court, but some would say a pre-trial hearing is merely administrative. There's not really much meat attached to it. Is that correct?
That is correct. I think just to comment on the security, I think that's more to do with the unrest that we've seen follow, prolific people or people with big profiles such as Magashule. We've seen the State Security Agency also, express its concern following the kind of violence that we've seen over the past few weeks. So like you've said, a pre-trial hearing is very administrative. It's just to check if both parties, in this case all the parties, are prepared to go to trial, whether the prosecution is ready, whether the accused have defendants, whether they've seen their charge sheets. So it's just to make sure that by the time the trial is set down, everybody is ready and has everything that they need to proceed. Then the matter will be certified trial ready, and it will go forth.
And so what now happens in this pre-trial, bearing in mind how far back this court case goes as well? What will happen in a situation where one of the parties, and I understand there's a lot of parties involved, Rebecca, one of them aren't ready to proceed? I mean, at what point does the judge go, it's not good enough, we should have been ready today, you cannot keep on delaying something as big as this?
So the intention is to ensure that everybody who has been charged together is tried together. But if it so happens that one or more parties are unable, for whatever reason, as long as they are valid, to participate at the same pace as everybody else, in very rare circumstances are the cases separated. So you'll find that in this case, there might be more than one accused defended by the same representative. It's very rare to have such a large number of individuals defended by one attorney because of obvious reasons. You want to make sure that your defendant gets the best representation possible. So yes, you'll find that some representatives will be lumped, some defendants will be lumped together, others, depending on what they can afford, depending on whether they have state representation, will have their own. So the likelihood of the trial being separated is very unlikely, but that's what we're here to establish today. If somebody indicates that they are unready and there's a reasonable chance that they will be ready at a later date, not too far away, the case might be postponed and set down at a later time.
When it comes to a situation like you talking about a high-profile individual like Magashule, we know that there is the suspension within the ANC as well, that he is busy fighting, and we're hearing that there's going to be various counter-arguments to what's going to be presented in court today. As someone who looks at the constitutional law aspect of this, what do you expect to hear from the lawyers of Magashule and the other co-accused? Are they going to sit back and wait to hear what the NPA puts forward, or will they already have a battle plan and a tactic in place?
Well, first of all, they will have by now been presented with the official charge sheet. And I mean, they were, arrested and charged and indicted before. So they have a good picture of what it is that they're facing. And again, unfortunately, in South Africa, the way that it is that justice or great representation, especially in criminal trials, goes to people who can afford the best. If you have a state representative who's often overworked and underpaid or has a lot of cases, sometimes you don't get the best representation. However, at this point, this is what a pre-trial procedure is about, is to ensure that everybody is aware of what the charges are. Everybody is aware that they have the rights to representation. Everybody is told when the trial is set down for, when it will begin, to make sure that all the parties can come and not come back later and say that they had an unfair trial procedure because they weren't given adequate information or they weren't given representation or the option of representation. So this is kind of to preempt any problems going forward. In line with respect to the charges, I think that because we have one high-profile person here, we're likely to see a lot of media coverage. I don't think that will affect the case. I think the lawyers that he has chosen will represent him to the best of their ability. I also think that the court of public opinion is going to participate in this case very much. We've seen a lot of people commenting already outside the court before the pre-trial procedure has taken place and making, sort of assumptions about what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. That is up to the courts. And I also think that we need to ensure that everybody who is on trial here, gets a free and fair trial, that they're not overshadowed by the press or the high-profile individual. And that's where we trust that our judiciary is unbiased and free and fair and independent. So I don't know that we'll have a lot of unconstitutional behavior taking place because it's a high-profile person. I think we're going to see a trial unfold with a lot of media attention. That's all.
Yeah, it really is going to be a lot of media attention. That attention starts this morning with you and I speaking. Always a pleasure, constitutional law expert Rebecca Sibanda. Rebecca, thank you very, very much, as always, for joining us. As we're probably just about an hour, less than an hour away, I'm looking at my time, as to when this court case expected to get underway. Aviwe Mtila and also Siphamandla Goge at that court case for us for the suspended ANC Secretary-general Magashule appearing in court today. Details of that throughout the morning. Before we get to any of that, though,